So our topic today once again is Subject-verb Concord. So we are looking at rules of what? Of Concord. Please. Then our lesson objectives. We always have our lesson objectives. And our lesson objective is what? At the end of this lesson, students should be able to, one, define Concord. Students will be able to define what Concord means and explain its importance in sentence structure. Identify subject-verb pairs. Students can accurately identify the subject and verb in a given sentence. I hope you can see the board from outside, right? You can see the board from behind. Now, apply basic Concord rules. Students or learners can apply the core rules of subject-verb agreement, including using singular verbs with singular subject and plural verbs with plural subject. I hope you can see this, right? So the next lesson objective is recognize common Concord errors. A certain common Concord error that you ought to identify, that you ought to recognize. So students can identify common mistakes in subject-verb agreement, like using a singular verb with a plural subject, right? So in our lesson today, we should be able to identify all of these mistakes that are very common. We say they are common. Common is because you find it everywhere in our spoken English, in our daily conversations, communications. People make their mistakes. Some of them have almost become like a cliche and acceptable language when we communicate with one another. So our objective continued. They said correct Concord errors. Learners can actively correct errors with Concord within provided sentences. The next is construct sentences with correct Concord. Students can create their own sentences with proper subject-verb agreement, right? We are still explaining or we are still viewing or we are still dwelling on our lesson objectives. Then understanding special cases, discussing and applying rules for Concord in specific situations like compound subjects, indefinite pronouns, and collective nouns. Then above all, attend Practical JAMB, SSCE, and other related questions on the understanding of Concord. Do you all understand these lesson objectives? They are explicit. Explicit means what? They are clear, right? All right. So, in furtherance of these objectives, number one is our definitions. The first objective is what? Understanding the terminology Concord, right? Hello, students. Are we together? So we said, what is Concord? Concord is a word which is originally derived from Latin for agreement. Concord means what? An agreement. In the context of English grammar, Concord could be defined as the grammatical agreement between two words in a sentence, which is the grammatical agreement between mainly the subject and the verb in the sentence, the subject and the predicate in the sentence. The general idea of Concord is that the verb must agree with its subject in number and person. Must agree with what? With the subject in number or what? And person. Agreement between words in gender, number, case, person, or any other grammatical category, which affect the forms of the words. So, simply put, Concord can be defined as the agreement between subject and predicate. That is just the definition. All what you see here is just one word. Agreement between subject and what? And predicate. Between subject and verb. That's just it. So we are next is what? Is element of what? Of a sentence. Under element of a sentence, that what we have a word, they have SVCOA. You know, our objectives, we are working with our objectives. We want to ensure that you achieve what? Our objective. If we check our objective, serial number 2 in our objective, this actually what points what to our what? Our second objective. Are we communicating? Am I communicating? The first objective is what is understanding what the definition of the terminology Concord, right? Hello, students. So we want to the first objective which we have achieved right now is what the definition, understand definition of what? Of Concord, which I have summarized as what the agreement between what subject and what? And verb. Is that communicated? Is that clear? The sentence is the what? Is the unit of expression in English. A sentence can be defined as group of words that start with a capital letter and end with a full stop. It can also be said to be a group of words with an explicit or implied subject and finite verb, and that expresses a complete thought. Thought. A thought. Right? It expresses what? A complete thought. Look at this now. A sentence is made up of 5 elements, which are subject. You see that I actually circle them, right? Subject, verb, object, complement, and what? And the verb here. You get that? So in some textbooks or the text or materials, you see it noted as what? Adjunct. Someone say adjunct. Adjunct. This adverbia is what is represented with adverbia or something. So an understanding of this element is necessary if we are going to construct correct sentences. So if you are going to construct correct sentences void of sentence, when I say correct, a sentence that is void of grammatical blunder, right? Grammatical errors that is void. A sentence that is coherent is what we must have the good understanding of what? Of subject, verb, object, complement, and what? And adverbia. We will not be doing justice to Concord where we do not what? Understand, or where we do not make known to you what subject, verb, object, complement, and adverbia is all about. So first is what? Is our subject. A subject can be defined as what? As the performer of an action in a sentence, although it's not written there. So, but usually the performer of an action in a sentence is what? The subject. Now, for what we have, what I noted down here is what said subject is usually the first thing that appears in the sentence, except the sentence is a question. The subject of a sentence is the performer of the action specified in the sentence or the focus of sentence. The word around which, look at the parentheses there. In parentheses, I mean what? In bracket. So in bracket, if you have anything in parentheses, is what is explaining what has already been said in a preceding word context. Do you understand what I mean? In a preceding context. This environment before this parenthesis is called the preceding context. That is the environment, the word that comes in before what? The circle, the bracket. Am I communicating? All right. So below are examples. The subjects are underlined. James loves writing. James is the performer of the action in this word, in this sentence. Meaning that James is what? Is the subject of what? Of this sentence. Right? Now, the wicked man left his children in the road. The wicked man is what? Is the subject of the sentence. You see that they're all what? Underlined. Reading in the night is not a good habit. Reading in the night is not a good habit. What? Is reading in the night is what? Is the subject. Reading in the night. Now, that you know him is not the problem. That you know him is not the problem. That you know him is underlined as what? As the subject. That you know him is not. So he is a very interesting character. He is the subject. So you can denote subject with what? With S. S what? Look at the acronym now. SVOCA. SVOCA. All right. All right. Next is what? Verb. That's next verb. Those are additional explanation. I just gave you an additional what? Explanation. Right? So the next is what? Is verb. Right? We say what? The action performed in a sentence is referred to as what? It's as a verb. The action performed in a sentence is referred what? To as a verb. No, the verb follows the subject, except the sentence is a question. What is a question? For a full explanation of the verb, okay, let's click here. But here, it will be enough to say that a verb shows the action performed by the subject or the condition or state of being of the subject. It is that element in the sentence that gives the sentence meaning and makes it a complete thought. A group of words without the verb cannot express a complete thought. Right? A group of words without a verb cannot express what? A complete what? A complete thought. The underlined part of the following sentences illustrate the verb. Right? Number 1, James loves writing. Loves is what? is the verb. Is the action performed in the sentence. What's the action performed? Loves is an expression of what? Of your passion towards someone. So James loves what? Writing. The wicked man left his children in the road. Left. Reading in the night is. What is is? We have different types of verb. You understand? You know we have a helping verb. We have lexical verb. We have anomalous verb. Also helping verb, right? We'll call them auxiliary verbs. Oh, am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
So we said what the wicked man left. So you can understand, you see all the verbs here what are underlined. So but this is the lexical verb, right? This is not lexical verb. This is lexical verb. This is what? Lexical verb. This is what? Anomalous or auxiliaries or helping, hips and was is also what? So next is what? Now, you can see what we have on the board now. This is a tabular representation of what? Of subject and what? And verb. The tabular what did I say what? I say it's a tabular representation of what? Of the subject and what? And verb, which is the main idea, the center of our discussion today. Which is what? The center of our discussion today. So we need to understand this. Under the understanding of this tabular representation or this table or what we have on this board, will help us or we aid our knowledge of what? Of Concord better. So we say what? Singular and plural subjects and what? And verb. Subjects and verbs. I omitted S there. So singular and plural subject and what? And verb. So you look at what? Here we have our subject. Here we have what? Our verb. Can you see that? Is that clear? So now look at subject. We have our singular subject and we have our plural subject. Now note again, we are still going to come over some of the things I'm saying. I'm still going to mention them in the lecture or in the lesson. All right, so we have our singular and plural what? And plural subject. Here we have what? He, she, animal, it, this, that what? That's singular. A singular subject can either be a noun or pronoun in a sentence, right? A noun or pronoun, a noun clause, phrase or pronoun in what? In a sentence. As already elucidated in our preceding what? Slides. In our preceding slide. I've already elucidated some of them already, right? I've explained them. When I say elucidated, I've explained in our preceding what? Slides. Singular, this is singular, plural. He, they, we, animals, these, and what? And those, right? And those. These are what? Plural. Here we have what? Singular, right? It's not a regular singular plural what you had in your elementary stage while you were in primary school. Now look at the verb. We have singular, the same way we have singular and plural subject, we have what? Singular and plural what? Verb. Look at singular plural. Now, is, was, loves, lives, has. They are what? They are singular. Singular what? Singular verbs. Now, we have a plural verb. Are, were, love, live, have. They are what? They are what? They are our plural verbs. Now, between this, no, these are anomalous. These are an anomalous verb now, right? Has, have, and had. They are anomalous. So, you know, in your past form of this has and have is what is had, right? Had. All right. So that's not actually, we are still going to do something that has to do with that later. Much more in our lessons. All right. So now, to further explain our fundamental rule of Concord, we said what? A singular verb agrees with a singular what? A singular subject agrees with plural verb. So this man must agree with this man. So singular agrees with what? With singular. He is, right? She is. She was. She loves, right? She loves, right? She lives. She has. That's an agreement. Look at it. Then look at the plural. They are. We are. We were. We love. Animals. Animals live, right? These are. Those her. Do you understand? So a plural here agrees with what? With plural. While singular agrees with what? Singular. So you don't there cannot be an agreement between a singular and what? And a plural. A singular subject agrees with what? Singular verb. A plural subject agrees with what? Plural verb. A singular subject cannot agree with what? A plural verb. Is that explicit? Is that well understood? Is that understood? So in our next slide again, so we want to go to what? Object. Object. Very quickly. Object. The object of a sentence is the one that receives the actions of the verb performed by the subject. So we say what? The receiver of the action in a sentence is referred to as what? The object. Right? The receiver of the action in a sentence is what? Is referred to as what? As the object. So we have, that means that the subject performs the actions. The action is the verb, but the one on whom the action is performed, the one that receives the action is what? Is the verb. So the object comes after the verb. The object comes after the verb. Is the verb. What is the lexical what? Is the lexical verb. So let us look at very quickly examples of what? Of object. Alison bought a car. Alison bought a car this morning. This morning. Alison bought a car this morning. A car is what? Is the receiver of what? Of what? What's the action? What's the action? Bought. The action that the action performed is what? Is what? Is bought. The verb is bought. So the receiver is what? Is a car. Alison bought a car this morning. The thief broke into the room on the opposite street. What's the receiver of the action there again? The room. The room is what? Is the receiver of the action. Which receiver of the is the receiver of what? Of the action, which is what? The room, right? Which is what? The room. The black man loves his wife dearly. The black man loves his wife dearly. His wife is what? Is the receiver of what? Of the action. It's not the subject. The wife is not what? Is not the subject. The wife is receiving the what? The action. But usually we say what? We have okay, let me not bore us because we have a lot of things because we have not even started explaining the rules. We have a lot of rules that we are going to go through. Now, I saw you last night. I is what? I am the performer, right? I'm the performer of the action. Saw is what? Is the action performed, right? You are the receiver of the action, the object, right? Last night is what? Adverbial. Now, there are two types of objects. We have direct object and what? The indirect object. The indirect object comes first if the two of them appears in the same sentence. It is the one that benefits from the action of the verb. Now, the direct object is a sufferer. It suffers from the action of the verb. Consider these sentences. The first part underlined is the indirect object, while the second part is the direct object. My dad gave me a wristwatch. My dad gave me a wristwatch. The direct object is a sufferer. It suffers from the action of what? Of the verb. Consider these sentences. The first part underlined is the indirect object, while the second part is the direct object. Okay, the president left his wife much money. I underlined more than I was supposed to underline. Okay, the president gave his wife more money. The sufferer is the number one. The first is sufferer. Who is the sufferer? It's the wife. The person that is receiving the major action, right? So this is what is the sufferer. Next, you are looking at complement. So now the complement is an attribute or quality of the subject or object. You are looking at what the quality. What the quality? It shows the quality. Complement shows the quality of what? Of the subject or object. It shows quality. Now, the man is a real hero. The man is a real hero. Hero. The man is a real hero. Hero. The man is a real hero. They elected Johnson president. The day seems beautiful. Right? Beautiful shows the quality of what? Of the subject, right? It shows what? The quality of what? Of the subject. Now, president. They elected Johnson president. They elected Johnson what? President. Elected Johnson what? President. President is what? Is our complement here. Right? President is showing what? Is showing what? The quality of the action that they performed. It's showing, giving us the quality. Right? What's the quality? The what? The president. The outcome, the attribute. It's showing what? It's saying what? Attribute is an attribute or quality of the subject or object. Of the subject or object. Do you have object in this sentence?
Yes.
What's the object? Johnson. Thank you. All right. All right. The next is adverbia. This is not. This is just a means to an end. We just needed us to understand this, so that we will not be confused when we are faced with questions that are twisted. Some twisted questions. Hello, students. So that you will not be confused when you see some twisted questions. Say, I don't understand this. So it's very important that you do this, that you understand this. Adverbia. The adverbia is the most mobile element of the sentence. That means it can come in anywhere in sentence, the beginning, middle, or ending. Unlike the subject, verb, object, and complement, which are fixed positions, the verb tells us the place, time, manner, etc. of the action. The degree of an action. Manner, the frequency. These are other things that I didn't mention, right? So the underlying part of each of the following sentences are adverbia. Alison bought a car this morning. So what does this morning say there? Time, right? Time. Now, the thief broke into the room on the opposite street. Place, right? Talking about what? Place. Is that not correct? Now, the black man loves his wife dearly. The manner, you can put the manner, you can put the degree. The degree of his love dearly. Right? Now, I saw you last night. Last night is what? Time. Adverbia of what? Time. All right. So, nota bene. Nota bene. Nota bene. I deliberately put this. This is NB. What do you have? NB. NB. NB is what? Nota bene. N for note. B for bene. Is it the first time you're seeing NB? You have seen NB before, right? Yes. No. So I just say note. This is just like a note. Take note. Note. Of these 5 elements, only two, the subject and the verb, are compulsory. The rest are what? Optional. They are optional. Right? No, I stated it explicitly. Even before now, I've explained that what is most important is what? Our subject and what? Our verb. Right? Okay. Next. Now, these are the rules now. We are here. We are here. Now, rules of Concord. Rules of Concord. Rule 1. A singular subject requires a singular verb. That is fundamental. Is that not correct? So, rule say the cat is sleeping. Cat and what is? There is an agreement, right? The subject agrees with what? With the verb. Now, rule 2. A plural subject requires a plural verb. The cats are sleeping. Very simple. Rule 3. Indefinite pronouns such as anyone, everyone, everything, anything, something, somebody, someone, etc. See, I did not mention all that here. Did I mention all of those here? Everybody hates Chris. Is it hate Chris or hates Chris? ate. Everybody ate Chris, right? Ate. So those are indefinite what? Indefinite pronouns. They are categorized as what? Indefinite what? Indefinite pronouns, such as anyone, someone, everyone, anyone, somebody, someone, everybody, anything, nothing, something, etc., etc., are treated as singular and require a singular verb. Everyone wants, you know singular, right? We have discussed this. Everyone is now singular. You want to go to the party. All right, party. So some indefinite pronouns, there's some category. You know, these are not like an exception now, right? Like an exception to that same rule, to the preceding rule. You know, rule 3, rule 4 is telling us something different again. Look at it. Some indefinite pronouns such as both, few, several, etc. are treated as plural and require plural verb. Right? They require what? Plural verb. Both of the cats are sleeping. Now, none of the cats is none. So now, number 5, singular verbs end in s or es in the third person singular. He, she, it. She sings beautifully. Right? She sings beautifully. You have explained this already. I've done that in that diagram I gave you. This has already explained it. You see, you have done a lot of explanations. You are giving a good background to these lessons that made it very, very easy. Simple. Now, plural verbs do not end in s. We have already explained that, right? The example I gave you, I say love and loves and what? And love, right? Lives and what? Live, right? You see that in that chart. I that tabular representations. Compound subject joined by and require joined by and require a plural verb. Look at this. Understand though. Understand, students. Understand this statement. Understand this statement. Now, compound subjects joined by and. I'm supposed to put some apostrophe. Yes, you understand? Quotation. So inverted comma. So and require a plural verb. The cat and the dog are sleeping. You get that? The cat and the dog are sleeping. You cannot say the cat and the dog is sleeping, right? The cat and the dog are sleeping. So now, when a singular subject is joined by or no to another singular subject, the verb agrees with the nearer subject. Either the cat or the cat. Either the cat or the dog is sleeping, right? The nearer or the dog. Now, closer to the or is what? To the verb is what? To is what? The dog. The dog, right? So if the dog is singular or plural, is a singular. So definitely, if this singular, there must be an agreement. The verb should be what? Should be what? Should be singular. Is that correct? Is that understood?
Yes.
All right. Next, rule 9. When a singular subject is joined by or no to a plural subject, the verb agrees with the nearer subject. The same thing you are saying, no? I'm seeing this like a further explanation. Hello, students. Like you are giving more explanation, making it more clearer. Now, neither the cat nor the dogs. What is this? Now, because the determinant now is what? Is what? Dog are sleeping. If it's singular, is what? Singular, right? So now, next, rule 10. Collective nouns such as team, group, audience, etc. are treated as singular or plural depending on the context and meaning of the sentence. The team is playing well. Singular. The team are very talented. Now, it depends on the context. The context is what is the environment in which what the person is speaking from, right? The environment. The environment. When I say context, I mean what? The environment. Now, the team is playing well. It's regarded as one group, right? So the team are very talented. So we are a very group of individuals, right? Now, rule 11. Title of books, movies, and other works that are singular require a singular verb. The Lord of the Rings is a great book. The Lord of the Rings, right? Is one book, right? Is the title singular. For example, rule 12. Title of books, movies, and other works that are plural require a plural verb. Eh? Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter movies are very popular. Harry Potter movies. Now, rule 13. Fractions that are singular require a singular verb. 1/2 of the pie is gone. 1/2. This is singular. 1/2 of the pie is gone. Rule 14. Fractions that are plural require plural verb. 2/3 of the students are here. 2/3 of the what? Of the students are here. So you are looking at fractions that are singular and fractions that what? That are plural. Right? Rule 15. Expression of time, money, and measurement that are singular require a singular verb. $5 is not enough. $5 is not enough. So is agrees with what? With $5 note. Right? $5 note. Words such as each and every require a singular verb. Each student has a textbook. Each student has a textbook. Words such as some, several, many require a plural verb. Many students have textbooks. Many students have textbooks. Rule 19. You see, I'm getting very fast now, right? I'm taking it faster than I started. Now, when I started, when the subject is an infinite, to plus verb, the verb is singular. To sing is my favorite activity. To sing is my favorite activity. Now, rule 20. When the subject is a gerund, what's a gerund? Gerund are nominalized verbs, right? Gerunds are what? Nominalized verbs. Verbs that are changed to noun, right? When the subject is a gerund, ordinarily is what? Is a verb, but you nominalize it, change it, but via some affixations, right? The verb is singular. Singing is my favorite activity. Singing now is what? Is what? It's a gerund. Singing is now what? Is now what? A noun in the sentence. Okay. So we say what? When the subject is a gerund, they say a verb ending in ing. So when a gerund is what? Is a verb that is changed to a noun in a sentence by adding some what? Affixations. You understand? That's what a gerund. Singing is my favorite is. Now, in sentences beginning with here or there, the verb agrees with the subject that come. There are 5 cats in the yard. Or here comes the bride, all dressed in white. There are 5 cats in what? In the yard. Here comes the bride. So, beginning with here or there, the verb agrees with what? With the subject. What's our subject here? What are subject here? Right? That's our subject here. All dressing right. Then not rule 22. It's very important. You know, you have actually laid a background already, right? A very good background for this lesson. So I think in that environment created, we can easily drive. We can understand. It makes it very easier for us to understand the subject discussed, right? The subject matter. So to inverted sentences, sentences in which the subject comes after the verb, still require subject-verb agreement. Upset was the cat. Upset was the cat when it was woken up. Upset was the cat when it. Cat is what? The subject. Do you understand? Our subject, what's our subject? Always in every sentence, you look out for what? Our subject, right? You look at what he said was subject verb. That is the crucial, the pivot of our discussion, the center point of our discussion is what? Is subject verb, right? An agreement between subject and what? Predicate, subject and what? And verb in the sentence. So subject is joined by as well as or along with. Do not change the verb form. The cat as well as the dog is sleeping, right? The cat as well as the dog is what? Is sleeping. Now, rule 24. Rule 24. When a phrase or clause comes between the subject and the verb agrees with the subject, not the noun in the phrase or clause. The cat, along with its toys, is sleeping. What are we talking about? What's our subject? The cat. Not along with the toys. No toys. Are we communicating? Am I communicating? Is that understood? Yeah. Now, so the subject discussed here is what? The cat. Next, when using collective nouns, if the group is acting as a single unit, the verb is singular. If the individual and the group are acting separately, the verb is plural. The team is playing well. We have discussed something that has to do with it before. Now, preceding rules, right? We have discussed this already. Singular because they are acting as a unit. The team are arguing among themselves. So, individuals. So, plural because they are acting separately. Now, rule 26. When using an expression of quantity, such as many, several, few, etc., with a countable noun, the verb should agree with the countable noun. Example, many cats are sleeping. Rule 27. Rule 27. But hello, am I actually communicating?
Yes, sir.
Is this lesson, is it explicit?
Yes.
All right, thank you. When using an expression of quantity, such as much, little, a lot, etc., with an uncountable noun, the verb should be singular. A lot of water is needed for this recipe. 28. When a subject is collective, when a subject is a collective noun that can be considered either singular or plural. When a subject is a collective noun that can be considered either singular or plural, the verb agree with either the singular or plural meaning of the noun. The jury has reached its verdict. The jury has reached its verdict. Singular, treating the jury as what? As a single unit. You are treating the jury as what? As a single what? Unit. The jury are discussing their individual opinion. The jury are divided in their opinions. The jury are discussing their individual opinions. So plural, treating the jury members as individuals. Right? not as a single unit. Is that clear? Right? 29. When a subject is a noun that ends in S, but is singular, such as mathematics, you get subject, and diseases, right? Like measles. I'm just giving you other explanations that are not here. Measles, subject, titles, movie titles, and all that. The verb should be singular. Politics is a difficult subject to discuss. Mathematics is a hard subject. Now, Rule 30. Rule 30. Rule 30. Are we together? When a subject is a noun that refers to a single thing made up of two or more parts, such as scissors, pants, glasses, etc., the verb should be plural. Right? Scissors. When we use words, two or more parts, some that have two or more parts, right? Where you add a noun that has two or more parts. Scissors, does the toothpaste have two or more parts? Socks now, pants, glasses, So what the verb that follows should what? Should be plural. Glasses are stylish. These glasses are stylish. I want my glasses. Rule 31. When using a compound subject joined by and, the verb should be plural. Tom and Jerry are playing outside. When using a subject joined by or, the verb should agree with the subject closest to it. You had explained this already, right? You explained this already, right? Either the cat or the dog are responsible. The dogs. When using a compound subject joined by no, the same thing too. Neither the cat nor the dogs are responsible for the mess, right? Are responsible for the mess. Rule 34. When using a subject that consists of a prepositional phrase, the verb should agree with the subject that follows the preposition. The book on the table belongs to me. Agrees with what? No, we are looking at the subject, right? Subject. The verb, the next one, the cars in the parking lot need to be washed. Now, but I believe that you are actually impacting knowledge here, right? When using a subject that is a non-count noun, such as furniture, equipment, etc., the verb should be singular. Right? The furniture in the room was rearranged. Furniture in the room was... See, these rules I have given you, you will be asked questions based on this rule. The understanding of this rule will aid your knowledge or will help you to be able to answer the questions correctly.